Hello there, my beautiful yogi. Thanks so much for joining me today. This flow is going to be all about staying with our feelings, looking into them, and attempting to figure them out. I know a lot of feelings can be really unfigureoutable, but today we're going to try to stay and feel. It's going to be a very nice restorative yin type flow. We're going to start laying on our backs. A bolster and a block are going to be beautiful. If you don't have a bolster, you can use a pillow or two. Sometimes two pillows feels nice. And if you don't have a block, you can use two books, or the second pillow could serve as the second. Okay, so let's go ahead and meet on our backs, laying down flat. So in yoga, a lot of people like to say the pose begins when you wish to leave it. I just want to reiterate safety, right? We want to be safe within our body. If it feels unsafe, we leave the position. Okay, knowing the difference between discomfort and unsafe can take some practice. So that's why we practiced it on the mat. So we can try to unearth all of the yumminess outside of this mat. Once you get here, just take you a few deep breaths, connecting with the mat, the earth beneath you, becoming the observer here and noticing the thoughts, the feelings, and just watching them drift away. One more round of breath. And we're going to slowly walk the feet over towards the right side. And then we're going to walk the upper body towards the right side, coming into a little banana position here, taking the arms up and overhead. And like I said, we're reaching over towards the right side, getting a beautiful stretch down the left side body right here. Coming back to our breath. Noticing the feelings here. I'm going to take it a little deeper. You can cross that left foot over the right. And maybe grab that left wrist with the right hand. One more round of breath here. And we'll slowly release the wrist, untuck the toe there, walk the body back towards our middle straight position here. Big smiles on our faces. And then we're going to walk the feet over towards the left. And then take the upper body over towards the left as well. Noticing the difference in the sides. Noticing the feelings here. Take a note of the thoughts that arise. Big inhales and steady, long exhales. And if you want, you can take the right foot over the left ankle. And if you want to deepen it on the upper body, you can grab that right wrist with the left hand. And go slightly deeper. Resting into a little bit of discomfort maybe. There should never be any sharp stabbing or shooting pain. We're going to take one more round of breath here before we walk it all back into our middle line here. Maybe bringing the feet to the mat, knees up towards the ceiling, feeling the back on the mat here. And we're going to come and roll onto our sides. So we can come onto the left side. So we're going to go ahead and get our props. So we're going to use the block for our head. And then the bolster or pillow is going to go in between our side body. So left arm is going to lay in between this area. Now our block has multiple options, so utilize the options. If your bolster is big like mine, you can change this to where your head is nice and comfortably resting here. This part should feel really nice. You should already start to feel the stretch down the right side body. We're going to take this right arm up and overhead, really stretch. And just finding what feels good with this right arm. This should be a nice shoulder opening. So come here with me. Finding that breath. Staying here with all the feelings. Noticing the feelings that rise up. And then having the power to watch them go. Really breathing into that right side body here. Big, deep, full breaths into the belly and the chest. We're gonna have one more round of breath here. And slowly this right hand will come on down and maybe come onto the mat to help push us up. So we're just going to come to the other side. So we're just going to roll them around here. So now this right shoulder's coming down and the right side of the head's coming to the block here. And once you get here and this feels good for you, I'm going to reach that left hand overhead to get this shoulder stretch on. Each side is always different. Noticing the difference between the side here. Noticing how this feels here. How is it different? Remembering our breath here. Feeling that whole left side up with air. I'm going to take one more round of breath here before we allow this left arm to come down, finding the mat to help push us up here. Beautiful job. We're going to move the block and the bolster. We're going to come onto our bellies. And once you get there, you can take your arms into a T shape. And we're going to pick up this right hand, bring it to the mat, and we're going to roll over onto the right side, or left side hip. This right foot's going to come behind us. And we're just going to breathe here for just a few minutes. Feeling into that shoulder. Feeling into the feelings. What thoughts does this bring up? If it feels good, you can bring this left foot up to the mat too. Just finding what feels good for you here, listening to the body, noticing where the discomfort is and what feelings and thoughts it brings up. One more big round of breath here. And if you brought that left leg up, we're going to send it down first. We roll onto that outer hip. And slowly we're coming back around to our bellies here. Should feel fabulous to come out of it. Right hand goes out, and we're going to do the same thing. So kicking over, coming onto that outer right leg. Breathing. We are not holding or clenching the breath here. If you took the extra step, you can come up on this side too with that right foot. One more round of breath here. And if you have that left leg up, let's go ahead and send it back out. Slowly unraveling the same way that we came in. Coming back onto our bellies. Let's go ahead and bring our hands into our diamond shape at the top of the mat. And bring the forehead to that diamond. And just shake the hips left to right here. And let's find a bit of stillness for a few rounds of breath here. One more round of breath here. And we're going to go ahead and push up. And we're just coming into all fours position here. We're going to thread the needle. So once we find our nice, beautiful, stacked all fours position, we're going to send that right arm up towards the sky. And then here we go, threading the needle. This left hand can stay on the mat. You can also bring it up and overhead. Beautiful shoulder stretch. You can also find the bind here, reaching for that right thigh. Choice is yours. Breathing. We are not holding or clenching our breath here. Beautiful rounds of breath, feeling up that belly. One more round of breath here. And slowly we bring this left hand to the mat, and slow as ever, this right hand goes back up towards the sky. Let's go ahead and sit back on these heels for just a second. Toes tucked or not tucked, choice is yours. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and come back to our all fours. Finding our nice stacked position. And on an inhale, that left hand sweeps up. And we thread the needle here, coming through. Head comes to the mat. You can leave this right hand on the mat, or you can take it overhead. You could also find the bond by finding that left thigh, if that feels nice for you here. Just noticing the feelings, noticing where the discomfort is. Staying with it for just a little bit. We're going to take one more round of breath here. And slowly bring in this left hand to the mat, sweeping that. Right hand comes to the mat, left hand sweeps up. Ooh, yin yoga's got me here. And back to the mat. Let's go ahead and sit back into our kneeling position here. Sitting up nice and tall, putting a big smile on your face. And we're going to come down onto our backs. We're going to take supported bridge. So if you want to do this with the bolster, do it with the bolster, or you can do it with the block, whichever way feels better for you. We're going to come into our position first, making sure that we can feel the heels. And then we'll grab our block and we'll put it underneath the sits bones. Our block has multiple levels, so we're going to find the level that feels best for us. And we're going to come into that resting position here. Beautiful hip flexor and chest opening. Bringing the awareness to our breath here. Big breaths here, feeling that belly rise and fall. Remembering the pose begins at the moment you're ready to come out of it. What are the thoughts when you push through and stay? How does it change your perception? I'm going to take one more round of breath here. And we'll slowly remove the block. And then we'll take the windshield wiper with the legs. So go ahead and drop them over to the right. And bring them up over to the left. Back up to the right. Over to the left. And we're going to push up with our elbows, coming in for cobbler. So bringing the feet to touch. If you want to bring your block and your bolster in front of you to rest your head and face on, let's go and stack them up here. And once you get here, first thing we're going to do is give these feet a little massage before we fold forward, hinging at the hips here. And when it feels better, you can walk the upper body forward. If you want, you can keep the elbows resting against the knees or not, just finding what feels good for you here in this position. And really feeling into those hips here. The hips can bring up different emotions, different set of feelings. Noticing the difference between the two. And then coming back to the breath. Allowing the breath to calm us and to be our center. We're going to take one more round of breath here before we push ourselves up. We are coming in for our final pose. We're going to take our legs up the wall. This is an amazing way to give your body a break. I'm trying to decide if I want to push my mat forwards or backwards, and I think I'm going to push it backwards. So I'm going to come in like this. So wherever you are, you can pull your mat up against the wall. You don't have to, but I'm going to. And then we're going to send the legs up, and then we're going to bring the hips as close to the wall as we're able. Oh yeah, and then we're just going to come and we're going to lay here. Join me in this beautiful, beautiful resting pose. Doing this for 2 minutes a day would be so beneficial to your heart, your low back, blood flow, tension. This is such a good, wholesome resting pose. It's also beneficial to do it just laying there without a wall, but the wall makes it more comfy. Nice big breaths here. I'm going to love you and leave you here. If you have a few extra minutes, stay here. Stay and feel. Thank you for sharing in this time and space with me. Please do comment, like, share. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you sharing this time with me. Have a great rest of your day. Namaste.